What's up, everybody? Trinity here, and welcome back to the Second Street Marvel. It's New Comic Book Wednesday, and here I am in my local comic book shop, Bases, Cards, and Comics, to bring you my comic book pull list. Now, before I get into that, please make sure you're subscribed, click the little bell, and all of that good stuff. Now, as I said, it's New Comic Book Wednesday, and if you have a local comic book shop near you, you should get out there and support them. I can guarantee you they're probably much like mine, where they have more than just comic books. They probably have t-shirts, action figures, posters, trading cards, all kinds of other cool things for you to go and geek and nerd out on. So you should get out there and support them. So in case you don't already know, comic book pull list, here on Wednesdays, we all pull comic books and all kinds of different things. If you want to know more about a comic book pull list, you can go ahead and check out the video right up here that'll tell you more about that. And anyway, basically, trade paperbacks and new comic books are released at your local comic book shop on Wednesdays, and today I'm going to go over my comic book pull list, and we're going to go ahead and get right into that. Now, before I really get into that, I want to let you all know I am going to be reviewing these two comic books here by the end of the video, so make sure you stick around to the end after I've talked about the comic books that I'm taking home for the week. And before I get into all the comic books, I just wanted to show you guys this one right here. Trade paperbacks are also released on New Comic Book Day, and this one was released last week, and I ordered it a little bit late, and they just got this in this week. But that is of my favorites indie comic book out there on the market right now, and that is Neon Future, and this is the trade paperback. And look at that cover. That's just absolutely beautiful, is it not? Just absolutely beautiful. Love the art in this book. Love the story here. And if you're a subscriber of this channel and you are in the United States, I will be giving away a copy of this at my 1-year anniversary here on the channel. So, you might want to make sure you subscribe and leave comments in the videos. So, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and get into my comic book pull list here, and we're going to start off with on Marvel Comics, as I do always, with Amazing Fantasy issue number 15. This is just a facsimile copy, basically just a page-for-page reprint of this first appearance of Spider-Man in Marvel Comics, and that was in Amazing Fantasy 15. And then moving along, I've got issue number 2 of Web of Black Widow. Now, I'm pretty sure I did a review of this issue number 1 here on the channel. If not, maybe I'll combine it with this one. I thought it was a pretty good series so far. Issue number 1 was good. Can't wait to read issue number 2 here. In case you guys don't know, Black Widow has kind of become one of my favorite characters here in the Marvel Universe. So I definitely can't wait to get into this second issue and bring you guys a review on that. Now, the next one I have here is one I'll definitely be reviewing here on the channel, especially probably on the Trailer Park Live. We'll talk more about this. That's Gwenpool Strikes Back, issue number 3. So make sure you look forward to that. If you haven't ever watched the Trailer Park Live, you should definitely tune into that sometime. But, maybe put the kids to sleep and don't let them come watch, because it gets a little bit crazy over there on Fridays. The next one here is Jedi Fallen Order, The Dark Temple, issue number 3. Again, this is the third in this 5-issue run that is going to be released, but leading up to the release of the video game that's getting ready to come out. I don't really know a whole lot about that, but I'll probably end up buying it either way, right? The next one I have here is Loki, issue number 4. Now, I need to do a review on these particular issues. I haven't really reviewed these on the channel here much, but I've quite enjoyed what's been going on in this series. It's pretty well written. Just for me, it just seems like it's a lot more story, and I want a little more action. I want a little bit more going on here, but who knows? Maybe we'll get more of that. And I think I still got to read issue 3, so I'm a little bit behind here, a little bit behind on that particular series. But again, I thought the first 2 issues were pretty good. The next one, and you guys have probably already seen my review of this, is Powers of X, or Powers of 10, if you will, issue number 3. This series by Jonathan Hickman has been absolutely great. No complaints whatsoever, but it's very heavy. Going between like the House of X and Powers of X. The Powers of X, it's kind of, man, there's a lot going on in this story. Jonathan Hickman has done a really good job kind of reintroducing and re-bringing back in the X-Men into the Marvel Universe. Excellent series. I can't wait to see some of the things that are going to be coming out of the series that are all going to be spinning out of this kind of relaunching of the characters. The next one here is Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 31. Now I went ahead and got this cover, but I also got this Mary Jane variant cover as well. I don't know. I just thought that was just a really nice cover there. I mean, how could you say no to that, right? And plus, I mean, that famous scene right there, right? We all seen that in all the movies. You like it. Anyway, And here's another reason, I tell you guys you should get out and check out your local comic book shop too, because sometimes they have these right here, these Marvel True Believers. These are only $1 issues, and you're getting a classic story, classic tale with all that classic art that we all love so much for $1. And this isn't like the facsimile copies. It's not exactly presented as it was back in the day, but this is these for $1. You can't complain about these. Definitely an excellent value if you're just getting into reading, not really into comic books, or want to get into it. $1 per issue, you can't beat that. And DC actually has some as well that they've been doing as well, and I'll get into those in just a minute. And that's all I have for my Marvel books, and we're going to go ahead and get into DC now. And the first one I have here is Hawkman number 17, and this is the deceased variant cover on this. I just thought that was a pretty cool looking cover, so I went ahead and picked that one up. I've been reading this series since issue number 13. Actually issue number 10, I believe. I've really quite liked it. Been a pretty good series, and I got into that series through the suggestion of Comic Man Jake here on YouTube. You should go check out his channel. And then here is, like I said, DC has been doing these dollar comics as well, and this is DC's dollar comics. This is Watchmen issue number 1. Just a $1 reprinting of the issue. Like I said, for $1, you can't beat it. And like I said, if you don't know what you want to read, you want a classic tale, something that is, I don't know, I guess is pretty good by most parts, is, you should definitely check out some of these dollar issues. And Image actually does some of these dollar issues as well. And that's all I have out of the big two, out of Marvel and DC. I'm going to go ahead and get into my small press and indies now. We're going to start off with Aftershock Comics, and that's Shoplifters Will Be Liquidated, issue number 1. Now, obviously, this is an issue number 1. I haven't read this yet, but obviously, it's a new series. But I wanted to check this one out. Just the premise and everything of it sounded pretty cool. Even the title itself is kind of, it kind of grabs me in. And plus, Aftershock Comics has done a couple of other books that I've really liked lately, and You Are Obsolete and Bad Reception. So I can't wait to go ahead and get into reading some of these books and bring you guys some reviews on that one. Now, this next one is one. This one released, I believe, last month, and that's Something Is Killing the Children, issue number 1. They've finally been putting out, some second, third printings of it, and I went ahead and got one, found one here at a reasonable price because, some of those first issues, they go up in price, and, I think they have one here, but, I don't know, I figure I'll just wait for one of the reprints and, get it at a little bit lower price, at cover price. Yeah, I'm not too big of a collector here on the channel. I'm more of a reader, you guys. But there are certainly people out there who would pay for that first issue. And now moving on to Image Comics, I've got Coffin Bound issue number 3. Now I realized I need to do some reviews on these books right here. I haven't done any of the reviews on Coffin Bound at all, but I kind of like this story. It's something a little bit different, kind of a future in which something has happened and people are, basically the world is kind of a wasteland. I don't know, Mad Max kind of stuff. It's pretty cool little book. And I'm not sure how many issues that's going to be, if it's a mini series or an ongoing. I don't know, but I guess we'll find out pretty soon. The next one here on Image Comics is Reaver, issue number 4, and I'm not sure how well you can see that on there. I know the lighting seems to be messing with me right now, but this series has been pretty good as well. It's kind of a medieval, fantastical kind of tale. Been pretty good. I think I need to do some reviews on this one on the channel too. I've neglected some of these titles, and some of these ones I've really liked. And the next one I have on Image Comics here is issue number 15 of Ice Cream Man. And you guys know I've liked this series right here. Ice Cream Man is a great, pretty well-written horror series. And the thing I like about this is it's an ongoing series, but you don't have to read every single issue. It's not like an ongoing story here. It's just the story that's going on in each one. They're just kind of all like a bunch of one-shots. And I'm sure it's, there's a certain character, the Ice Cream Man, obviously, who kind of ties them all together. But, yeah, this has been a really good series. And, I never really thought I was, like, into horror so much. But I've noticed ever since I've started getting into some of these indies, I think I'm kind of into some of this horror genre that they've got going on here. The next one here I've just found here in... I heard from one of the other channels, I should check this one out. That's Dead End Kids, issue number 2. And I don't know, I've never read this one either. And this was on Source Point Press. Gonna give this a read, see how it is. Probably do a review on that. And the final book I have for the week is on Xenoscope Comics. And I've really liked it. I only read issue number 2. I didn't read issue number 1, but that's The Watcher. issue number 3, and this is the third and final book in this little mini series. And I've noticed on like a lot of comic books, even whether that's like Marvel, DC, and stuff like that, sometimes these little 3-issue, 4-issue, 5-issue stories are really good, because it's like somebody just, it's not like an ongoing thing where somebody's having to, just writing an ongoing tale, because I realize that could probably get hard to do. I certainly would want to be the one in some of these positions trying to do some writing like that. I can imagine it's pretty hard. That's why, hats off to some of these writers who are out there doing that and doing a good job writing them. And again, and that's what I found with a lot of the indies titles that I've been reading is, the writers are there. They're kind of the storytelling seems be a little bit better because they don't have established characters in there that they're trying to meet certain people's expectations of. And I'm sure that's something that is kind of hard to do. Building up that new character and things like that. But again, I don't know. That's just what I've found. Kind of, you guys have probably seen here on the channel, I've gone down the indie rabbit hole a little bit. But anyway, that's all I have for my comic book pull list. Now I'm going to go ahead and get into a couple of the reviews on some of these books as well that I did read, and these are Cobra Kai on IDW Comics. This is a first issue. I'm guessing this is probably just going to be a little mini series. Now this is based obviously on like the Cobra Kai TV show that they have that's being produced by YouTube, which is a good series. I actually like the series. If you guys haven't checked it out, you guys should definitely make sure you get a chance to. If you like the Karate Kid, and it just kind of tells an ongoing story, like more of an updated story about Johnny from, that was in the first Karate Kid movie that, was bullying Daniel LaRusso and all that stuff. And this book right here, I got to tell you, it was actually pretty good. It was, I wasn't sure what to expect out of it. It wasn't too wordy, but what it does, it kind of tells us, some of the stuff that we got out of the TV show, in the Cobra Kai TV show. You can see some of the art there. Where they got, we see learning a little bit about Johnny. And let's see, this is written by Denton J. Tipton. The art is Kagan McLeod, I'm sure I butchered that name. And the colors are Luis Antonio Delgado with the letters by Neil Utaki. I'm sure I definitely messed that up as well. And I'll go ahead and show you those names again there so you can see the people and give them credit for who did this comic book, because I didn't know what to expect out of this. I actually thought this book was pretty good, and the art in it is pretty decent as well. You can see, and again, a lot of this story, all it's really telling us is kind of what we learned throughout the first Karate Kid movie, and I think some of this was actually even in the Cobra Kai series that's here on YouTube, where you can go watch. But it's just a little bit different, and it's a little more told from Johnny's perspective. And altogether, I thought it was a pretty good book. Now, whether you want to buy this book or not, that's completely up to you. But I thought this book was pretty excellent. It's not on my pull list or anything, but I did read this here, the comic book shop. They're so awesome. They let me read this and bring you guys this review. And again, if you guys would like, you can go find my local comic book shop here. That's Bases Cards and Comics. You can find them on Facebook and even Instagram at Bases Cards and Comics. You should check them out. They do an excellent job here of just promoting a lot of the comic books and everything that are getting ready to come out through the week. And so yeah, Cobra Kai, again, that was on IDW Comics. That's the cover of it. I believe they probably have a second cover of this as well. But you can check out the back there where it kind of tells about Cobra Kai. Yeah. Like I said, I thought it was pretty good in the art. The art in it was pretty decent as well. I'll show you. Let's see, I'll show you a little bit more of the art here and there. It's pretty decent. Not too bad. Just kind of depends on what you want out of art. But I thought it was well served here in this book. Now the next one I want to talk about here is White Fox. Issue number 1. This is a new character coming to the Marvel Universe, and I believe this is like from one of their games or something, because it's saying a future fights first. And I think this character is possibly from one of their games or something, mobile game or something. I honestly won't pretend to know too much about it. But this book is being obviously published by Marvel Comics. The writer is Alyssa Wong. The artists are Kevin Libranda and Giaffo. The colorist is Israel Silva, and it's lettered by VC's Joe Sabino, and the cover artist is Inyuk Lee. And I want to tell you guys, because Inyuk Lee is one of my cover artists. I love the covers that he does. But then also I'll let you see all the people there, so you can get the credits on there for the people who wrote this book, because I'm sure I butchered some of those names. So what we get in here is we get a brief introduction to our main character, who is Amy. Is it Amy Han? And it's probably Ami. Something I've I'll admit, hey, I don't know. But we see that she's a teenager. She's just joined a new school, and she's actually, when we open up, we see that we're kind of being introduced to her through Mr. Lau from the Atlas Foundation. I believe he is probably part of the new Agents of Atlas. He's working with Jimmy Woo and all that kinds of stuff. I won't pretend to know too much about that. Maybe it's we got Mr. Lau here. And who is, I believe Mr. Lau is probably the dragon there. And then we got Jimmy Woo here, who is the one doing some of this research on these characters. It looks like he's probably assembling a team or something of people here. And then we are introduced to our main character in the story here on, what is that, the third page? The third page of the book here. We finally get introduced to our character, and we see that she's a teenager in high school, and she's at a new school going, looks like she's trying out for the volleyball team, or possibly even already playing. She has a friend that she's met there, kind of a fan of hers, I guess you would say, even though it's like her first day, and we see she has kind of a little run-in with some bullies here. Altogether, I'm not sure that I would for me myself, I'm not going to be pulling this series, but I'll probably do a couple more reviews on some of the other issues getting ready to come out. And then we see, we kind of get introduced to her friend and who her family is. She's had some issues out there. She's kind of well known. She's an outcast, and so she turns, and what she is she's kind of she kind of changes into this wolf avatar here, the white fox, I guess, not wolf. And goes out, and fights crime, and she just kind of changes and has, somewhat of spiritual powers. She can track people. She can track, their steps, their scents, and things like that, just like a fox would. But altogether, if you're into that, you want a new Marvel character out there, something new in the Marvel universe, you should definitely check out this book. There is also a second story here towards the back called Of the Future Avengers as well. Apparently, it was a team of kids who were recruited and found by Hydra, and were trained, and now they are going. They made a switch. Probably after Secret Empire or something, and now they're going to be good guys. But altogether, if that's something that you sounds like you might be into, you might want to give White Fox a try. For me, like I said, it wasn't for me. I know, I read it. I was like, it was okay. I've really been liking the Arrow series and Swordmaster that have come out. New characters they have spun out of basically the War of the Realms. They were introduced through the new Agents of Atlas books, I believe. I don't know. But anyway, that's all I've got for this video today, folks. Thank you all so much for tuning into the Second Street Marvel. If you haven't already, please make sure you're subscribed and click that little bell so you get notifications anytime I have uploaded new content. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you don't, give it a thumbs down. It's all good. I'm not really going to look into it that much. And again, if you can, please make sure you share this video with a friend and invite them to come hang out here on the Second Street Marvel. You all have a very good day. Have a great rest of your week. Happy reading. Get out and support your local comic book shop, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.